take like these outtakes and shit, because no one gets to see the shit we talk about before we even go live.
That's a good thing, believe me.
Yeah, no, exactly. Some of the shit we say before we even go live is goddamn stuff we talk about. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Keyboard Warriors, presented by repcrossmansmma.com. That's right, represent, still with the team. New URL, of course, to go to. It's repcrossmansmma.com. Get yourself some good shit. We got hats, we got shirts, we got all the gear. Stickers are on this side right there. Anyway, with me today, of course, my boy Fred Kirby and Jesse Rubacava. Is there anything else to talk about? There's very little to talk about. There's stuff to talk about. But dominating every headline, every website, every clickbait story is Mayweather versus McGregor. And today, the Nevada State Athletic Commission voted to allow this one-time exception to the rule, right? So from 147 pounds down, you can use 10-ounce or 8-ounce gloves. This fight is at 154 pounds. You're supposed to use 10-ounce gloves, but Nevada has just allowed them to use 8-ounce gloves. Fred, everyone's saying this is a huge win for Conor McGregor as far as his chances in the fight. What do you think?
Listen, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it's a huge win for Conor in the fight. To be quite honest with you, I don't know how much of a major difference this will actually have on the fight. It helps. Make no mistake about it. The gloves being a cunt hair smaller means that Conor's chances are, a cunt hair better in actually knocking Floyd out. But it doesn't change too terribly much. I'll tell you what I got out of this. What I got out of this is what an utter fucking joke the Nevada State Athletic Commission is. I mean, I tell you what, if Floyd trounced in there and whipped his little black snake out and said, somebody better suck this thing or I'm not fighting in Nevada, I got half a mind to believe that somebody get down there and start sucking his goddamn dick. Because this is some bull. Let me tell you something, Jack. Make no mistake about it. If there is a win for this, I would say it's for McGregor. Having smaller gloves, it's a thing. I am a McGregor guy. We are all MMA heads. I would imagine that, somewhere in our heart of hearts, even if you guys hate McGregor in the MMA realm, we're going to be team fucking McGregor that night. That being said, let's just take a step back and look at this situation logically for a brief moment here without our MMA blinders on. Let's just think of the worst case scenario for a brief moment. Let's let ourselves think of what could go terribly wrong here, okay? We got a 49-0 boxer, quite possibly the best boxer of all time, taking on a guy who is 0-0. And then, what the fuck, 10 days before the fight, the fucking State Athletic Commission decides to make the gloves 2 ounces smaller, something they've never done before. Now, let's just say for the sake of argument, that Conor gets stretched. However unlikely it might be, let's say Floyd beats the fuck out of Conor McGregor and knocks him unconscious, Bernard Hopkins style, out of the fucking ring in the 4th round, and Conor fucking hits his head or something. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, could they be sued? I mean, will they not look back and be like, whoa, what the fuck was we thinking? Now you got a guy who's never boxed before that you sanctioned to fight quite possibly the greatest of all time, and then fucking 10 days before the bout, you break all your own rules and make the gloves smaller for no apparent reason other than the fact that Floyd Mayweather got in a pissing match on Twitter. What in the fuck? I mean, again, being Team MMA and Team McGregor, I'm all for it. I'm sure Conor's all for it. But in the long run, this could prove to be detrimental to the Athletic Commission if things go south. And let's face it, they fucking could. Conor's never boxed before. I mean, yeah, he's had some good hands in MMA. Against who? Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez? All due fucking respect. That don't mean shit for what he might do against Floyd Mayweather. He might get fucking trounced in there. So, I don't know. All in all, I don't think it makes that big of a difference in the fight, really. But the Nevada State Athletic Commission looks real thirsty right now. And really on some bullshit, quite frankly. I mean, they look like they can be bought. They look like hooers.
Exactly.
They look like $2 hooers. Like, if you got enough money, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do in Vegas. It takes a lot, but you can do it, clearly.
Yeah, and that's what I took away from it. I was because Murnell goes up there and he's like, Murnell, for those that don't know, he's on the board on NAC and on the commission. And he was saying he was talking about, we should do this. We could, it could be a one-time thing, whatever. We could make a study out of it, try to use that bullshit. And then he said, no. The best part was this to me, was when he goes, you know what? And frankly, I'm pissed off that we're being used as like a promotion tool for social media. You didn't sound that pissed off when you were suggesting it and make your emotion, motherfucker. You know what I mean? But you're right.
Yeah, no shit.
Something happens to either guy. And Jesse, chime in on this part if you want. Something happens to either guy. Nevada State Athletic Commission is going to be trampled. I mean, they're going to get just crushed, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, what Fred said. I mean, if you have set rules, there should be no reason to ever break these rules, especially when you have a guy that you should be protecting already from himself when he's an 0-0 boxer going up against a guy who has, you know, just millenniums of, you know, experience more than he does in this realm of boxing. That being said, though, I mean, I forget who brought up a point, you know, if it was such a big point to try and get more things in Mayweather's favor, why didn't he make Conor cut down to 147? You know, make him cut those extra few pounds, try to put more in his favor. This to me just seems more like a promotional thing. Keep everybody talking about this fight. Because remember, we've had 3 weeks of lag between an event and when this fight is supposed to go down. And I think, Eddie, you said it on Twitter either today or yesterday. They've done a damn good job of keeping everybody talking about this. The hype for this hasn't gotten down. It's only actually grown because now they've added a new twist. Oh my God, now the gloves are lighter. Oh my God, now all these other possibilities. And, you know, I mean, every time one of those clickbait stories goes up, I'm sure Mayweather, you know, he just sees dollar bills, just cha-ching, 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 just he's counting the money already. You know, and everybody's a part of it, right? So good on them. I just can't wait to see this fight go down, finally. Next week. Let's do this, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, again, it's all promotion, all of it. It's beautiful. Like I said, like I believe we did a show. I think the day they announced it, the day after they announced this, we did a show, and I remember saying that right now McGregor's this right here on the lower, and Mayweather's up here. Dude, little by little, the promotion's working because we're getting the odds are starting to come up like this, man. The odd was it McGregor's a plus 325, I believe. I think he's a plus 325. And a lot of it has to do with the bets, right? A lot of people are putting money on McGregor, but I mean it's a beautiful thing. But now, dude, they have people thinking this fight's almost even. You know what I mean? They legit have thinking that this fight's almost even. It's fucking kind of crazy.
You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to bet my youngest child on Floyd Mayweather. They've ran the odds down so much that this goes to show you, though, man. One thing I will give this cocksucking fight. We will look back on this in history, and for better or for worse, we will remember it. This has been a memorable thing from fucking start to finish, and we haven't even seen the fucking fight yet. It's definitely not boring, man. They keep it interesting this whole fucking time. What the fuck? Even the line. Conor supposedly has a better chance of beating Floyd than his last 6 opponents, including fucking Canelo Alvarez. What the fuck? Manny Pacquiao? What? Does Conor McGregor have better odds than Manny had? I think he does.
Maybe.
It might have been a little closer because people actually thought that Manny could beat him. But I know his odds are better than fucking Berto's or fucking Canelo's was, which is fucking ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah, because look, and I think a lot of people putting weight on the fact, you know, his movement and all this stuff and the left hand. Okay, granted. Right? He's a different kind of guy. He's going to move different than any boxer because he's not a boxer. You know what I mean? His stance is going to be weird.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on, man. Let me listen. I haven't spent a shitload of time in boxing gym, so I might not know what the fuck I'm talking about. Let me say that right from the jump street. Okay. But I hear a lot of people carrying on about this fucking movement. And don't get me wrong, I love it. As martial arts guys and MMA fans, we love talking about that fucking shit. The movement, him throwing the capoeira kicks, him fucking hopping around and doing all the weird shit with the fucking playing touch butt with that little creep in the park with the fucking hair, Ito, whatever the fuck. I love it. And quite frankly, I think it's all actually beneficial to an MMA match. I honestly don't know how much all this fucking unorthodox and his tricky movement is going to... You know how long they've been boxing? A long fucking time. There's been a lot of guys that have had a lot of fucking tricky movement. Just because most MMA heads have no fucking clue about boxing history doesn't mean that it didn't exist. And there's, I mean, maybe not exactly like Conor, but I don't know if I'm willing to just think that Conor's going to come in and Floyd Mayweather's going to be baffled at his foot movement and you know, his footwork and his head movement. I don't know how much that's going to matter. I hope it does, but I hear everybody saying it's going to be different. It's going to be different. Is it? Floyd's been boxing for fucking 40 years. Is Conor really going to bring something that different to the ring? And let me tell you something. If he brings something that different, he might get starched in the first round. He starts fucking bending over to his fucking knees trying to bob punches and shit, and Floyd might flat sleep him. I mean, the reality is, like I said, man, there's been hundreds of thousands of boxers throughout the time of boxing. There's a reason why nobody moves like that, and it's because it's probably not effective in a boxing ring.
Fred, whoa, man. You're not a real McGregor fan. You're not a real MMA fan, apparently, according to Brendan Schaub, the white knight of all white knights.
Oh,
because
God.
If you were a real McGregor fan, you would just blindly believe that McGregor is going to, like, utterly knock him out in the first few minutes of this round, and he's going to just be utterly great in this fight. Come on, man.
I hope for that. But the logical person, I mean, I've heard a lot of people, and not just Brendan Schwab. He's a fucking shitbird. I think he's literally trolling everybody at this point. That's just that's been his angle at this point leading up to it, arguing Conor's case. But I've heard a lot of people talk about his movement and how that could cause major problems for Floyd. And I'm just thinking, like, yo, Floyd has boxed, and think about all the guys that Floyd has sparred against. I mean, years and years in the fucking Mayweather gym named after fucking his lineage. This guy sparred a lot of guys. He's gotten a lot of looks in his day. And the thing is, all the fancy footwork that Conor has may translate very well to MMA, but I don't know if it translates to boxing. If it was, you'd think somebody would have been using these, you know. I don't think that Conor's going to come in and fucking rewrite boxing. As much as I like the guy, boxing's been around for a long fucking time, man. MMA, it does live in that creative space where you can kind of change the game. I don't know if boxing's like that.
No, but like you said, boxing has been around for a long, long time. And yeah, dude, fucking 49-0, man. What looks couldn't he have seen? I mean, McGregor might bring something he hasn't seen yet, but Floyd's about letting you have the first couple of rounds or your first 3 rounds just to figure your ass out. As soon as he's got you figured out, it's fucking game over for you. It's what it is. But going off the commentary real quick, DQ says, do it, bet the child.
She has been being a fucking brat lately.
Yeah. And then, I love that, bet the child. And then he says, Floyd isn't going to lose this fight. Everyone's saying he just has to catch him once. I laugh. And then how the fuck are his odds better than Maidana? There you go.
Right.
Actually, DQ was a boxer for 8 years, so he knows. Yeah, there you go. Gundez says, yeah, I love MMA, but I highly fucking doubt Conor wins this. And yeah, dude, it's kind of crazy. And it says, God damn it, Fred. Floyd was boxing in the womb.
I mean, seriously, he fucking was. I mean, Floyd got born into this, man. And like I said, man, in MMA, the creativity level is through the roof. In boxing, it's very small, man. There's only so much shit you can do. I mean, like I said, people carry on about Conor's foot movement. Jesus fucking Christ, man. He's not fucking Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. He's not going to just come in there and start doing this crazy shit that just throws Floyd Mayweather off. Listen, could they get into a wild exchange and Floyd get caught on his chin? Absolutely. But I don't think it'll be because Conor's fucking footwork is so great that he just starts fucking peppering Floyd up from awkward angles. I just don't see that, if I'm being fucking honest here.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Also, a part of this fight, they've actually named the judges and the ref. The ref is going to be Robert Byrd, who is actually a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Fame referee. He hasn't reffed any MMA matches whatsoever, any MMA fights. He is a boxing ref, obviously, so he's got that kind of thing. But I know they wanted someone that has some kind of MMA experience, which doesn't make sense to me because it's not an MMA fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
that's stupid.
It sounds stupid to me too. That's right. Burt Clements, Dave Moretti, and Guido Cavallari are the judges for that.
Oh shit! There's a judge named Guido.
Guido. Did I say that right or wrong?
I don't know, but if his name's pronounced Guido, we can pack it in, boy.
It's just getting crazy. All right. As far as Mayweather McGregor, not a lot, but we're a week out. We're a week out. Where Brendan Schaub is like fucking gagging on Conor's nuts, and anybody that's talking boxing, fucking who's this? Max Kellerman on ESPN and on HBO, constantly going off on saying Mayweather's gonna destroy him. It's gonna be a weird end like last week, right? The rest of this week and the entire next week is gonna be weird as far as the promotion goes. It might even get more ridiculous than it already is. But
sure, I'm sure things will ratchet up a bit.
Yeah. So, either one of you guys buying the fight, or are you gonna go somewhere and watch it?
I'm gonna go somewhere.
I'm buying it. I'm buying it.
All right. I'm gonna try
I'll probably have a house full.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I'm gonna go to my buddy's house. He's gonna buy it. We're all just gonna throw down some money. That way we have.
They come out of the woodwork for these big events like that. People that they never watched the fight in their life, like, yo, you getting that Floyd Mayweather fight? Cool. You mind if I come through and give you like $10? It's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get it regardless. So come on with it. Save me a little money.
It's $100 HD, I believe. Yeah, $100 HD.
I love that they say that $100 HD. Who the fuck gets SD anymore?
Well, exactly.
Do they even make standard definition TVs anymore? The big bubble TV that's made of glass and shit. Get the fuck out of here. Charge us like fucking $80 or fucking $40. Cocksucking cable companies. That's why people be streaming on y'all's bitch asses because y'all are too expensive. You're being greedy. We're gonna give you some money. Stop being greedy.
You can actually buy the pay-per-view on UFC.com, I'm pretty sure, as I've seen on there. So, I guess UFC.tv, you could
you know what? Let me send a word out to the UFC. If you cute little pricks were charging $90, I'd come to you. Since you're charging $100, go fuck yourselves. Why would I come to you? I just ordered on the cocksucking pay-per-view on the TV. I seen Connor on Twitter. Come to the UFC.com and order me fight. Well, why the fuck would I do that, Connor?
Or you guys could go to a theater near you and pay $40 for that. That's a good one, right?
It's $40.
That would be interesting. I wouldn't do it, but the concept is kind of cool. The live energy might be kind of cool.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. I've done it for GSP fights because that's the ones where the UFC had them before. It's not worth it. Unless you go to a theater that serves you booze, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Go to a theater that's fucking half black, half Irish, and serves whiskey. Let's have some goddamn fun.
Yeah, for sure. DQ says he's going to go somewhere to watch it. Gunda says, I ain't buying it. I'll follow it on Twitter. And then DQ says, maybe I'll watch on Periscope. Oh, by the way, Gunda says his grandmother has an SD TV. So he got you on that one.
Yeah, no, he didn't get shit. His grandma. Exactly. I rephrased my question. Who under 75 has an SD fucking TV?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, as far as this fight goes, again, it's the usual stuff. It's everything that's coming out just for promotion. So let's talk about some MMA. Not a lot going on.
Hold on. Let me ask you two pricks a question before we jump off this Connor thing. I talked about this with my homie Kyle on a podcast I did Sunday, and I think it's an interesting question as far as this whole Connor thing goes. And it'll probably be a nice segue into your next topic. I'm assuming that your next topic was going to be Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson. They might have booked that fight for the interim belt.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. Connor has been training for Floyd for quite a while now. Let me ask you this. Win, lose, or draw, Connor's definitely coming back to MMA after this. His manager said it. There's a lot of people that have stated his next fight will be a mixed martial arts fight. And more than likely, it's looking like now it'll be the winner of the newly made Kevin Lee versus Tony Ferguson fight. Now, we'll talk about that fight in just a moment. What I want to know from you guys is, regardless of who wins that fight, how does Connor look after this fight? Because he has spent so much time training only his boxing. And now that we know what the fight will be, so two-part question. A, how do you think his MMA game looks after focusing on nothing but boxing for so long? And B, who do you think is the better fight for Connor between Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson at this point? Jesse, you go first.
Oh, goddamn. Honestly, I'm going to say that his MMA game all around is going to look about the same Maybe worse in the sense that I think at the point where we left him off in MMA, he had improved his takedown defense, right, to a certain point. And I think now that he's gotten away from that for so long, I think now that's going to hurt him even more because now he's so far removed from that I think the worst matchup is Kevin Lee for him, honestly, because Kevin Lee has a really, really good way of getting people down. He's really aggressive with it. So I think his better matchup, quote unquote, better would be Tony Ferguson because Tony Ferguson, although he's great on the ground, he likes to throw down. He likes to get nasty. He likes to throw them hams on each other, right? He likes to get in these fist fights. So I think that would actually work in Connor's favor. But yeah, all around, I think his MMA game would probably suffer, unless if I'm Connor, I'd probably take this fight and then this P thing and not come back until like a year later. Just get everything, back on, a good wrestling program, a good jiu-jitsu program. Just get everything nice and back, into the fluid of what MMA is really about, and then finally take a fight. Because if he comes right back after a boxing match, I think it's just he's going to suffer, and he's probably going to end up getting really hurt, really bad in his next fight.
Really, here's the thing. I don't think we're going to see too much of a change in Connor's game. You know what I mean? I know he focuses on boxing and everything. That's great, but I mean, look, he fights Mayweather in a week. He's going to get a decent time off, right? He's not just going to start fighting MMA right away. Now, again,
hey, they said he was going to get a fight in before the end of the year. I don't know how realistic that is, but that's the rumor.
I don't think it's that realistic, man, especially not if he gets hurt in this fight. You know what I mean? If he gets hurt in this fight, you can forget about Conor until January, not until like February or so. You know what I mean? Let's just say he does fight before the end of the year. I like the Kevin Lee fight better. Way better. And I don't think we see Conor lose too much of his game. And the only reason I want to see him against Kevin Lee is because Kevin Lee is this big, strong dude, right? I mean, I know you guys tell me you agree Kevin Lee's probably stronger than Tony Ferguson?
Probably. I mean, that it's hard to say, but yeah, more than likely, one would imagine between those two. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Conor against Ferguson. That'd be fun for me. But to me, it would be, can Tony get him to the ground and can he take advantage of that, right? Besides, Tony does like funky shit. He just flips and shit. He's almost like trying to be like old school Pettis, if that makes sense. So, I like the Kevin Lee fight better, man. They'll stand up. There'll be a lot of talk back and forth. Kevin Lee was like, I'm not trying to be Conor McGregor while trying to be Conor McGregor. So you can imagine the shit talk coming from Conor McGregor about that. I would laugh my ass off. Like, it'd be fucking great as far as that goes. Fight itself, I like to see Lee. Now, Lee could win that, but it's just hard to bet against Conor in MMA.
Okay, so first things first. Pains me to say this, but I agree with Jesus. I think so. First, here, I think that Conor's MMA game actually will suffer quite greatly. I don't know if that might be a bit dramatic. Maybe not greatly. Listen, I don't think he's been doing any grappling, like at all, zero, and that's where he needs to be focused. He's always been good with his hands. That's always been his bread and butter. So he has had time to sharpen his sharpest tool. The sharpest tool he already had. Now, in comparison to these fights, I think that's horrible for Tony Ferguson because of the way he fights, because he thinks that he has this awkward, goofy head movement, and Conor's boxing is going to be at an all-time fucking high coming off of that fight. Even if he loses to Floyd, he's still going to, them hands are going to be crisp as fuck. So, listen, I think that it'll actually matter a lot as far as getting his MMA game back in shape. I think training only one discipline solely for 3 to 6 months is going to be pretty detrimental to his wrestling and BJJ game. Obviously he'll get it back, but these are things you got to stick with, man. Even fucking Damian Maya talked about how his BJJ used to lack because he got too obsessed with his striking. He had to go back and start making a conscious effort to train BJJ because he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? You can't just forget about it because you're great at it. Conor's forgetting about the shit that he was never great at to begin with. Now, his takedown defense has been nice and whatnot, but that's because his whole world revolved around MMA. He probably hasn't stuffed the takedown in a month of fucking Sundays at this point. So That being said, I think that Tony Ferguson's the easier fight because of the way their styles match up. But now we can just go ahead and segue into the Tony Ferguson Kevin Lee fight. I don't know exactly what to fucking expect from Kevin Lee yet. We know he's a beast, but his best win is against Chiesa.
That's the thing.
Who's not a very great striker, and that win was fucking weirdy-beardy and questionable. So I'm still on the fence again about Kevin Lee. But let's just, for the sake of argument, say that Kevin Lee can do his thing and he's able to actually get Tony Ferguson down and submit him and, the first or second round, have a dominant performance. I think that changes things a lot, and then that becomes maybe a very dangerous fight for Conor, possibly even more dangerous than the Khabib fight, depending on how Kevin Lee looks against fucking Tony Ferguson. If he comes in and just takes him right down, sweeps him, and gets a sub, it'll be eye-opening. With Tony Ferguson, you know what you're getting. Yeah, sure, he's a crafty striker. He's cute. He can take a good shot. But I could just see Conor picking him the fuck apart. And listen, one thing about Conor, who takes his shots in those 4-ounce gloves? If he, Tony got wobbled by, who was it? Lando Venata?
Yeah, Venata.
You got to imagine if Conor gets that, he finishes that job. He's too powerful and he's too pinpoint accurate with those little gloves. So, but that fight itself between Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson is very interesting. It'll be very telling too. With Kevin Lee, I'm not completely sold yet. Obviously, he has the ability to beat Tony Ferguson, but this will be his coming out party. If he can beat Tony Ferguson, then we find out how legit Kevin Lee actually is. Right now, he's just a super hype prospect. But as we all know, fucking hype prospects can get on the shitter real fucking quick. And like I said, his biggest win to date, is Michael Chiesa, which is a good win. But, he's no fucking Eddie Alvarez or, Anthony Pettis even, per se. What the fuck? Like, it's not the hugest of names.
Yeah, and Kevin Lee's on a 5-fight win streak. So it's Fernando Escudero, Jake Matthews, Magomed Mustafayev, Francisco Trinaldo, and then Michael Chiesa one. So, yeah, Michael Chiesa is the biggest win he's got so far. That's why I thought it was really going to get this fight, to be honest with you. But then again, it's like I was trying to figure out who else you would throw in there with Tony Ferguson that's, like, hot right now. And, Kevin Lee.
That list kind of scares me, to be honest with you, man. I'm not a big Tony Ferguson fan, but it seems like Tony's going to be the best striker he's fought by a country mile.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We'll see how he deals with that.
Jesse, who are you picking in that one?
Man, it's a tough fight. I agree with you guys. Honestly, I think some of the wins that Kevin Lee has are just kind of weird, right? He beat Trinaldo, Magomed. He beat Efrain Escudero by decision. A guy that, what's he doing now? He basically made his own promotion and, is kind of doing his own thing somewhere, in Arizona or wherever he lives. He should have won that fight outright. There are certain fights on his record that he shouldn't have gone to a decision. The John Tuck fight, there are some guys on his record that are just not on his level where he assumes to be, right? If he wants this title shot. But yet, what he did to Chiesa was pretty impressive, right? So I don't know. I'm going to go with Ferguson just for the fact that Ferguson has had more of the high-level fights. And again, he also has this weird ability to survive a lot of the damaging shots, right? With that Lando Venata, he was able to survive that and still, come back and do what he had to do. And if you look at what Kevin Lee likes to do, he likes to take people to the ground, look for submission. If he tries to do that with Tony Ferguson, I think he might be in a world of trouble there. He's a little confident after taking down Michael Chiesa and taking that choke from him. But I think this is a much more interesting fight. But I think Ferguson is probably the one to take this fight. I don't think Kevin Lee is ready yet.
I'm with you. And then Nick Redondo says, my boy Nick Redondo says, El Cucuy runs through Lee. He thinks Ferguson's going to take Lee out. So, possible, man. I would pick Lee in that one. Just because every time I pick against this motherfucker, he wins. Okay? I thought Chiesa was going to choke him out. I think it was going to be the other way around. That's his gut feeling, though. If I go with my head, Ferguson should be able to smoke him, really. But I don't know. Gundet says, I don't know Jesse, however you spell it, but dude knows his shit. So you got some big ups there, Jesse.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right, so let's talk about the guy that nobody talked about, but that shouldn't be in this fight. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Dana White says he has surgery, he's not ready. And there's people on the other side of that believe that this is a negotiation tactic. He wants to make Khabib beg for the fight. What do you think about that there, Kirby?
I don't know if he wants Khabib to beg for the fight. I think if Khabib could take the fight, he'd make the fucking fight. It would make more money. We'd all be more stoked to see it, even if we did get fucked out of it a couple times. Like, make no mistake about it. If this was Khabib Tony instead of fucking Kevin Lee Tony, we'd all be a lot more excited. We'd all be willing to spend more money. And at the end of the day, that's all Dana White really gives a shit about is selling fights and making money. I think because Dana White lies to us as fans, we get very butthurt about it, and people think he's like the boogeyman. Hey, believe me, if he can make that fight, I imagine he would, because that's the fight we want to pay money to see. It's just that simple.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk about obviously Jesse Khabib. Do you think that maybe? I don't know. Is it that the UFC doesn't trust him? You know what I mean? They're giving him big fights and he just doesn't make weight, or he gets sick, or eats too much tiramisu, whatever the fuck the joke is at this point. But do you think it's a lack of trust?
I don't think so, man, because if they still gave John Jones that headliner spot, knowing full well that, he could have gone crazy with the hookers and blow the night before or something, or a week before, I think that's more of a keeping the fighters under Dana White's thumb. I think that's his tactic. We've always talked about how back in the day, it was a kind of like a boys club, right? Like they ran it, you either did it their way or you're out the door, you're not getting fights for a while. It was just like these weird tactics that they would use. And I think we're still seeing these kind of tactics kind of trying to be used, but I don't think they're working anymore. I agree with Fred. I think it's just a point of like they wanted to make this fight. I think they even talked about it right before that. They were just going to book the rematch, finally get it done. Let's see this fight happen. And I think it's just a case of Khabib can't just make the walk. So instead of booking the fight and then, having that whole thing fall apart again, I think they just went, you know what, take your time, come back when you're ready. We'll have it, we'll have that fight if it comes down to it. So it's a good thing because think about this though too. How many people actually would think that fight would go down if it was booked? How many of us would come on or go on Twitter or something and go, yeah, this fight ain't happening. Why'd they book this fight again? Mm-hmm. This what time that they booked it? We're not going to see it, blah, blah. They would already talk it down, So it's like to avoid all that stuff, we're just moving on, starting fresh. And, whatever happens in that fight, maybe Khabib will get the winner of that. Let's get that.
People really are cunts, aren't they? Because I tell you what, you're right about that. But there's no real reason to do that. Listen, John Jones just fought DC. People are saying the same thing, but they made the walk and they got it on. Like, sometimes shit happens, man. I get kind of tired of hearing MMA fan crybabies. Oh, you're supposed to make this. Man, listen, if you want a surety and you want shit to pan out perfectly every time, then go fucking watch the WWE, man. They plan all their shit out. You know what I'm saying? They got you all figured out over there. This is the real fucking deal here, man. Guys get hurt. Motherfuckers be trying to cut weight and their kidneys go out on them. Some real ass shit. But believe me, nobody's scared nobody. Everybody wants to get paid. Believe me, I'm sure that Khabib and Tony want that fight.
Oh, yeah.
Khabib just got to get healthy. It is what it is, man.
Here's the fun fight they just made today, apparently. Matt Brown against Diego Sanchez, November 11th in Norfolk. That's kind of a cool fight.
At what weight? 70?
I don't know. It's maybe 55. They're 55.
Well, I know Matt Brown's not a lightweight, so I would imagine. I don't think he can make 55.
Oh, it's got to be 70 then.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I thought Sanchez was going back down because he said that was a little bit too much for him.
That's what I was thinking. He better He's about to take a fucking vicious beat. Tell you what, this might be the old swan song for Diego. Is that fight a fact? Is that made or is that a rumor?
Dude, it's fucking UFC official graphic shit.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So this is the equivalent of taking Diego behind the barn, son, with the old pistol. I felt that kind of fucked up actually because Matt Brown is a vicious guy. You'd have hoped they'd gave him a nice little fucking snuggle buddy wrestler or some shit like that. Like Matt Brown is going to beat the fuck out of Diego Sanchez at 170, Jack.
Well, look at what they're doing to Johnny Hendricks too. They booked him in a fight, right, against Borrachina.
Oh my god, they want to kill that guy.
Oh, listen, Johnny Hendricks is off the stuff, so
yeah,
they're trying to fucking give him the boot too.
Get back on the stuff, Johnny. Fuck the no contest and shit. Get on that stuff. Just survive this goddamn fight. Fuck. On the comments, says DQ says, I wonder who he's gonna fight. Is it gonna be the Nightmare or the Dream? You know, because he has Nightmare, Dream, he has Lionheart now. There's like every nickname ever. And then DQ says, dude, ouch.
Purgatory.
Yeah. DQ says Brown is gonna fuck him up. Probably.
You never know. Watch Diego come out and knock Matt Brown out after all this shit we're talking, but
right.
Then Matt Brown beats the fuck out of Diego Sanchez at this respective point in their careers.
Yeah, I hear you with that. All right, we got just a couple more things to go. Here's going to be a short show again. No MMA this whole fucking month, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. If you guys have questions, hit them up on the comment section. We'll go through as many as we can before we have to roll out. But Bellator's got a couple more signings. The not so impressive one, Sam Sicily, I think got he's got a pretty big deal out of Bellator as far as how many fights he gets. But Sam Sicily out to Bellator and heavyweight, former UFC champion Frank Mir off to Bellator. We've heard him say he wants that Fedor fight. For some reason, everyone wants to kill my boy Fedor. He ain't do shit to nobody, and they want to murder this dude. I mean, Fred, this is another case of Bellator just trying to cash in on a name.
Makes perfect sense, man. I mean, does this surprise any fucking body?
Nope.
Frank Mir seems like the fucking perfect candidate for Bellator at this point. And quite frankly, it makes perfect sense that he would call out Fedor. That's a fucking winnable fight for Frank at this point. He wins that fight, he's off to the races in Bellator. Does Bellator even have a heavyweight champion yet?
No.
Is it like, I think it's vacant or some shit because they lost their heavyweight champion. That one prick fucking whatever the fuck went to the UFC.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I think that's what happened.
I thought their champ was a guy that got suspended, went to Russia, fought, and then he was like holding out for more money or something. Isn't that the guy?
I don't know.
Was it Volkan? No, not Udazmir.
He wasn't Russian.
Fucking heavyweights. Whatever, man. Whatever. Their heavyweight division is shite. Frank Mir is a huge name. This is what Bellator does at this point. Yep. Shouldn't be surprising. Listen, is it a good signing for Bellator? Bet your sweet tits it is. If I'm fucking sitting around with shit all to do on a fucking Saturday night or Friday night, whenever the fuck Bellator's on, and they can throw fucking... Listen, I'll tell you right now, Bellator, fucking Scott Coker, Rich Chow, whoever the fuck's making the decisions over there, I ain't paying you no money to see these two old fucks fight. But you give it to me on Spike, I'm happy as a lark. I'll watch fucking Frank Mir and Fedor fight. I'll even watch it in the main event if it's free on Spike.
Yeah, no, exactly. Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that before, right? Right before we started the show, that it was the most like duh moment ever. Like, you know, Frank Mir is the type of guy that is a legacy guy, right? You've seen him fight in the UFC for so long, and it'll be kind of weird for him to go to Bellator, but it kind of seems like the right choice. But as you guys were talking, I came up with this weird idea. So now Frank Mir's in Bellator, right? Where if he had wanted to, he could have taken a fight right away, because it's not like Bellator has anything to do with USADA. You know, they could go to Indian, casino somewhere in, Kansas or whatever and fight there. But think about this. So Frank Mir wanted to have a rematch with Brock Lesnar, right? So what's stopping Bellator from going after Brock Lesnar and bringing him over to Bellator for a one night only against Frank Mir one more time?
Can I answer
Yeah,
that? John Jones.
John.
I think Brock's a smart bit. Listen, what you said. If Brock didn't have nothing, if Brock didn't have the carrot in the form of John Jones dangling over there in the UFC, the $1 million fight, I think what you say could very well be a reality. But since they got that John Jones shit dangling, I don't think Brock's going fucking nowhere. But that's not a bad idea.
But you also got to think, to fight John Jones, he has to wait out his suspension, and he's got to be clean when he goes back in there to fight. He's got to go through the whole USADA protocol and all that. Cut to Bellator, they're probably going to put in his contract, we will not test you for blah, 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 blah. Like the old Pride contract. So
yeah, we promise not to test for any of these things, so you knock yourself out.
Like, we will test for coke and weed. That's all we'll test for. That's kind of what the Pride contract used to say. Actually, we'll test for cocaine. That's it. Like some shit like that. A lot of support here for Mir Fedor. Gun Death and DQ says Mir versus Mitrione. Oh no. I almost said I don't want to see Mitrione. Yeah, Mitrione and Mitrione. I'd be okay with that fight over a Fedor fight because Fedor is like what 3 in a row he's lost or 2 in a row, whatever 2. It is. Yeah.
No, 1.
1.
Yeah, because initially that was a win for him, right? The Maldonado fight.
Oh right.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true.
Okay. All right.
Yo, hold on, quickly.
What up?
And listen, it's completely irrelevant, not that it fucking matters, and surely Fedor and nobody remotely fucking 5 steps removed from him watches this fucking program. Topic of Fedor, because he's such a legendary figure. And again, I know he'd never do it. You know what I would like to see Fedor do? Fight at 205. I would love to be excited for Fedor again. But honestly, if he fights Frank at this point, I low-key just see Frank smothering him and submitting the shit out of him. Frank's huge, and he's just got I think he can out-wrestle Fedor. If Fedor don't lay paws on him quickly, I think he'll eventually drag Fedor to the ground, and it'll be swimming with sharks in that first round. And Fedor's doughy. He's been able to make 205 for a month of Sundays. I'd love to be excited for a Fedor fight. And if he could actually make 205, all of a sudden that would come alive. Can you imagine if he was fucking Bellator's light heavyweight champion and he got slim and looked good and kept some of that power and shit? Like, you could actually maybe be excited for Fedor again. Now, we all know that he's probably never going to be motivated enough to give a fuck to do that. No. But I think it'd be interesting, man, because, at this point, I'll watch Fedor fight, but I'm not nowhere near as excited as I used to be. Like, that fucking horse has left the stable, Jack.
Yeah,
hey, Fred, how old are you?
32.
Rough estimate. All right. So, what Fedor's like in his 40s, close to about that?
Right. Well, I don't think he's in his 40s, is he? But he's like maybe 40, 39, 40 something.
I'll find out.
Somewhere in that area. So, right. So let's say that in your bank account at your age right now, you have a couple $1 million. Every time you go out and fight, they'll give you a couple million more. What would be the motivation for him to actually put in the effort to starve himself of things that he enjoys, to cut down to a weight that I agree with you. We've all the whole MMA community has been, tooting this horn for a long time about him going to 205. But like you said, what would motivate him? What could you possibly offer him that he would be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea?
Yo, sorry to interrupt. Real quick, Kevin Gaston just posted this to his Instagram literally 20 seconds ago. He says it's official, taking on Anderson Silva November 25th in Mercedes-Benz Arena. Is that New Orleans? No, that's not. Is that Japan?
That makes sense. Japan or China, I think, is what they were rumored.
Yeah, I think Japan or China. Fucking schedule doesn't go that far. Regardless, it's according to Kelvin Gastelum, Anderson Silva's Kelvin Gastelum is official now. Your reaction, Fred?
Meh. Kelvin's coming off that loss to Chris Weidman at this point. Anderson's almost in that weird Michael Jordan playing baseball phase of his career to where I'm still nervous that he could kind of lose this fight. I don't love it, to be honest with you. For me, with Anderson at this point, I kind of feel like, what are we doing? Is Anderson still trying to make a run at the title?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on here? Okay, well then I guess, if he still wants another shot at the title, then I guess this is an okay fight. It's a fight to get him on track. One more after this one, and potentially he could fight for the belt. I just, he is a living legend, man, and one of the greatest of all times. I just felt like I feel like we should be doing a bit more creative matchmaking with him at this point. Let's give him some fights to. I don't know. Are either one of you cocksuckers that excited for this fight? I mean, all due respect to Kelvin Gastelum, it's Anderson fucking Silva, man. I'm sure it'll be competitive, but I if we sat here and shot the shit, I could think of some names at 205 or at 85. Hell, he fought DC for Christ's sakes. Let's round up a heavyweight for him to fight. Let him fight Brock Lesnar. I don't know. It's fucking Anderson, man. I just don't want to burn one of his last fights on Kelvin Gastelum. All due respect.
Jesse, what do you think?
I don't know. You know what? Again, this seems like another one of those Johnny Hendricks, Rashad Evans, these like old guards that they're just trying to kill off like right away. Just trying to end their careers and be like, okay, you're done. You got destroyed. We're moving on, But I don't know, man. I think I agree with Fred at this point now that Kelvin should have just gone down to 170. Just get yourself together. Go down to 170. I mean, he gave Tyron Woodley one of his best, closest fights to this day. In his most recent run of fights that he's had, next to Rory McDonald, of course. A guy that completely shut down the champ. But I mean, he could be that guy. I mean, Eddie, come on, you could be the 170 champion within a year. You just got to cut out the tacos and the horchata, all that stuff. I mean, it's delicious. I get it, but you just got to get it under control. But I mean, obviously, Fred, like, think about it though. Anderson Silva, he's just looking for that one win to, kind of present himself to a title shot. Especially if it's still Bisping. Because imagine, like, he had a really close fight with Bisping. A lot of people really think that he won that fight. If he's able to win one fight here, I mean, I'm pretty sure that, he's going to be able to just go ahead and go, hey, you know what? I beat this guy that was an up-and-comer. I took the champ to a close fight. Let me have another crack at him. So,
Man, listen. We got motherfucking Luke Rockhold fighting David Branch. And we got Anderson Silva fighting Kelvin Gastelum. Gastelum, take your funny ass to 170. David Branch, take your funny ass to Bellator. And let's have Luke Rockhold and Anderson Silva fight. Look, Anderson, do you want the belt for real? Then fight Luke. You beat him, we'll give you a fucking title shot. Because Lord knows you deserve it. That's basically your title fight. Show us you deserve it. Because let's say that Anderson does beat Kelvin Gastelum. You know what everybody going to say. Well, Kelvin's a 170er. This is a no-win for fucking Anderson, man. It's just, I mean, the real educated MMA fan will give him his due, but most people are going to be like, well, Kelvin's going to 170 after this anyways. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wanted him to go back to 70. I don't want to see Kelvin Gastelum anywhere near fucking 185 anymore, especially after the beating he took at Weidman's hands. Now, do I think Silva's going to beat him? I mean, I don't know. Freddie, who you picking?
Listen, that's another thing, right? If I'm Anderson, this could be my last fight if things go south. I'd much rather get knocked out by Luke Rockhold than Kelvin fucking Gastelum. If things do go south and Kelvin knocks out Anderson, which could happen, Kelvin almost knocked out Chris Weidman at the end of that fucking, was it the first or second round? I forget.
First round.
First round, my bad. First round.
Yeah, he fucking dropped him. 6 more seconds and fucking Weidman's dead. So if he can drop Weidman, he can drop Anderson. Listen, if I got to pick a winner for this fight, I pick Anderson. I think that he's a better fighter. He's crafty as fuck. He is still a great striker. But he's getting old. He has had a tendency to get hit lately. Could I see Kelvin knocking him out? Yeah. And do I think that would be a fucking shit stain on the end of Anderson's career? Fuck yeah. Like I said, you lose to a guy like Luke Rockhold or even Chris Weidman again or something, man. At least you kind of lose to a guy that's a legit, middleweight and probably going to be a top contender the rest of the time they're in the UFC, there's a good chance that Kelvin Gastelum isn't even going to be a fucking middleweight the rest of the time he's in the UFC, let alone a contender at middleweight. So I think it's a dangerous fucking fight for Anderson and his legacy and his career. If I got to pick a winner, I'm picking him because he's goddamn Anderson Silva. But I'm not fucking confident. And if he loses that fight, that fucking sucks, man.
Yeah. Ever since the knockout, ever since Chris Weidman knocked him out, dude, everyone used to think, that Silva was like unbeatable, right? He'll find a way to beat you. And just slowly but surely, he's just, falling and falling. I mean, I want Silva to win this fight and then, right off if possible. Unless they give him a title shot, fucking take the title shot, get paid, and, see what happens from there. Especially if GSP somehow beats Michael Bisping.
Can you fucking imagine?
Yeah.
2018, Anderson Silva is fighting George St. Pierre for the middleweight fucking title. What kind of fucking weird alternate universe shit would that be?
Weird.
MMA will officially be the weirdest sport on earth if that actually happens. Which, quite frankly, listen, at this point, it'll either be Robert Whittaker, Bisping, or fucking GSP. So either way, it'll be a fucking bit of a strange champion at that point.
Yep.
What though?
What up?
These guys are pretty close in proximity where they train, Anderson Silva and Kelvin, right? Like I think Blackhouse and Cordero's place isn't too far from each other, if I remember correctly.
Very true.
I'll tell you what, fucking Kelvin's getting fucking sent down to Mexico somewhere, Jack. Them Brazilians ain't nothing nice when it comes to their own. Rafael Cordero's gonna be like, "You gotta go, my dude."
Later. Real quick on the YouTube comments, DQ saying we're talking about Bisping because they were talking about Michael Bisping and Whittaker. They said we're talking about Bisping while they're talking about Silva. So shows how interested we are in the Silva fight, which is true. And then the Silva versus Pierre finally. Look again, 2018. Imagine that shit. God damn it! It'd be so weird to see.
And as George as the middleweight champion, that would be fucking insanity, hypothetically.
Dude, just a few years ago, you would have never said that was possible. I mean, in 2018, just people be the champion, and he'll fight Anderson Silva. We'd be like, get the fuck out of here with the bullshit.
Yeah, and Anderson will be the underdog.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see what the betting is on, or what the favorite or the odds are on this fight with Gastelum. I wouldn't be surprised if Gastelum was somehow like the slight favorite. I would not be surprised.
You know what, man? I gotta say, just as a side topic, since we're just kind of shooting the shit here, is it just me or does it feel like 170 and 185 is just fucked right now? Both those divisions just feel like shit show. Like I feel like I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take nothing. You know what? Fuck it. I am trying to take some shit away from Tyron Woodley and Michael Bisping both. God damn it, Mike. You know you got lucky. You're not the real champ. You fucking got lucky against Luke, and then you fought fucking Hendo on the way out the door. Let's just be honest. Fucking Tyron Woodley, you probably lost that first fight against Wonder Boy, but you got gifted. Or no, I'm sorry. I am tripping. I should take that back. Tyron definitely won that fight. The second fight was boring as shit and could have potentially went either way. And this last fight sucked ass. I don't feel like who the fuck nobody cares about welterweight at this point. Who's the most hyped welterweight fighter we could watch fight? Like, would it be fucking Nate Diaz? Like, I mean, what's the money fight at 170?
Man,
George ain't there.
No.
Tyron Woodley's the champion, but like, dude, I mean, I just don't feel like he's the money fight.
Nick Diaz is like at 170. We have to name one, and it's hard to say Nick is one, but Nick would be the one. Like, who else?
There you go. It ain't Tyron, man. I just feel like 70 and 85 right now. It just feels like the champion don't feel legit. I'm sorry, it just don't. Even Conor, he hasn't even defended his belt yet, but because of how he got it, the guy he got it from, it feels more legit. Max Holloway, even with the bullshit with Conor, we all, he's 45 and it's dangerous there. Even Cody Garbrandt, like, I look at him as the real champion. I'm excited to watch him defend his belt.
Yeah.
But at 70 and 85, 85's got the fucking circus going on now with fucking GSP. But if you take that out of the mix, we got fucking Robert Whitaker and Michael Bisping fighting for the middleweight belt. Michael Bisping should have retired 3 years ago, and Robert Whitaker's another guy that should probably be at 170, all things fucking considered.
Probably.
I mean, he's tough, but he's a small middleweight. You know what I mean? Can you imagine if Luke Rockhold fought Robert Whitaker?
Oh, geez.
That's not to say that Robert could win that fight, but Luke would be so much bigger than him. Like, it just feels like the divisions are in a weird in-between phase right now. Like, they don't got that champion that's ruling over the division with an iron fist right now.
Right, and think about Rockhold. Rockhold should be a light heavyweight, dude. Rockhold's a big dude. He cuts stupid weight to make 185.
But he makes the weight.
And he makes the weight. You got to give it to him, right? You got to give it to him. So,
right.
Gundes says, Whitaker is the real middleweight champion, in my opinion. Thank you, Fred. Bisping is not the real champ. There you go.
I go along with that. I mean, yeah. It's easy to shit on Mike, but I mean, and I don't know. Listen, I guess he's the real. He did fucking knock out Luke Rockhold, which, to be honest with you, like real shit, I think Luke is the best 185er. We'll find out. I think the Bisping thing, I hate to say it, but I think he got lucky. I think, 9 times out of 10, Luke Rockhold beats the fuck out of Michael Bisping. I think at 185 pounds, Luke Rockhold is the guy to beat. Now, we'll see whether I'm right or not. But that's why I feel like these divisions are in peril right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, Tyron Woodley's at 170. But like Jesse said earlier, the goddamn Red King, Roy McDonald, fucking beat Tyron handily.
Yeah.
And he ain't even in the fucking UFC anymore. So that goes to show you, what kind of weird state 70's in at this point. They let one of the best guys in the whole fucking division get off. So I feel like both those divisions are weird right now for me.
I'm with it. Jesse, what do you think about that, man?
You know what? I agree with Fred, but I think the problem, too, with 170 and 185 is that the best guys, or the guys that I think the UFC was hoping would be the champ at this point, didn't pan out. Because remember, at 170, everybody thought that Wonder Boy was going to be the savior of the division, right? He was going to bring
fair enough. Good point.
And then Rockhold was supposed to be the guy that was the cornerstone of 185. Then he got too confident, and Mr. Old One Eye over there punched him in his face and put him out clean. Out for what? Since that fight, he hasn't fought, right? So, I mean, he got 2 guys that were supposed to be the next guys, and they're not there. And I think this is why we have this limbo. In the case of 170, though, I think the other guy that's an exciting fight that a lot of people are talking about, he just lost recently, was George Masvidal. That guy is a very exciting fighter, has a good style, has a good way of, presenting himself. He's kind of like that Nick Diaz without that, Nick Diaz weed and all that stuff. He's just a fighter. So I think that there are people in the divisions. It's just that they haven't panned out. They get put up against guys that they shouldn't get put up against. Masvidal should not have been put up against Damian Maia. They should have just given Masvidal that title shot, but here we are.
True.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. I think that's kind of all I got. Anything you guys want to talk about before we head out?
Did you want to hear about Javier Vasquez?
Oh, right. Okay. So if you guys don't know, Javier Vasquez, if that name rings a bell, Javier Vasquez fought for WEC and he fought in the UFC. And recently, and actually, let me pull up the article because I had it up a second ago and I lost it. I can read it from his GoFundMe if you need it. Oh, do it.
Okay, so basically, he had a stage 3 tumor removed from his colon. He got colon cancer. So he was extremely ill. And now he's looking at about 6 months of chemotherapy once he's able to actually go through the chemotherapy. So on GoFundMe, you can actually go see it. I think it's a GoFundMe / Prof. Javi Vasquez Cancer Relief. And they're up to 43,495. So they've already surpassed the goal that they set. Yet, as we were talking before, this cancer treatment is expensive. It's just, it's one hell of a pain in the ass to pay off. These drugs are not cheap. Plus, he's also not part of his jiu-jitsu academy at this point right now. He's taking time off from that. So he's not making any income. So, this guy, he's going through a lot of stuff. They also mentioned in here that he's going through a divorce. So, he's got a lot of stuff on his plate. money should not be one of the things that he should be worried about right now. So, good for the MMA community to reach out and, look after this guy, but still, man, it sucks to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. So, oh, and on those same kind of lines, Matt Hughes. There's an update on Matt Hughes. He's doing way better. One of his close friends actually posted something about it on Facebook. Dude looks actually pretty good for having been in a freaking train accident. So, that's just good to hear, man. I'm just very happy to hear about Matt Hughes. Starting to come back. So, yeah, great news on Matt Hughes here. Trying to look up any last second news here, Jesse.
Oh yeah, one more thing. If anybody, you guys, if you guys are fans of Ian McCall, reach out to that guy. Make him feel the love from the MMA community. Because I don't know if you guys heard him on the MMA Hour either this week or last week.
No.
He's been going through some stuff, man. He's just right now he's having a rough time. He sounds like he's battling depression. So, reach out to that guy, make him feel the love, because that guy has put on some exciting fights. His last couple fights haven't gone through because he's got some sort of GI issue or something where he can't hold food down. He's still sick, if I remember his last update. So, reach out to that guy as well, make him feel that MMA love, because, these guys put a lot out, for our enjoyment. And, sometimes these guys go through some pitfalls and, go through some horrible stuff, and not a lot of people know about it. So, reach out, make them feel that love.
Definitely. All right. Well, if we got nothing else, this will be it for us tonight. Appreciate you guys tuning in. You can follow Kirby at Kirby_MMA. Follow Jesse at Sport11983. You can follow me at Eli31. All the Twitters are right under here in the little blue spot in front of my face. We're doing a giveaway. It's the second or third one we ever do, and this is a little different. And I know it's not MMA related, but UFC 3 don't come out for a while, and Madden 18 is about to come out next week. And a lot of people play football, play Madden. So thanks to spicespros.com, they've actually given us 2 copies, or we're able to get 2 copies of Madden 18. So the way you can do it, you can do it on this video or any video that comes out basically from now until the 25th, which is when we're going to pick the 2 winners. You subscribe to the channel, you hit like, you leave a comment with your Twitter handle on it, and you share the video. That's all you got to do. That's it. Takes literally like 30 seconds to do. You do all that shit, you guys are in. On August 25th, that's obviously the night before Mayweather McGregor. We're going to have a sort of a pre-fight show the night before where we just fucking talk about how crazy this shit is. It's actually about to go down. We do our last-minute breakdowns, our picks, just shoot the shit, have some fun with it. And then at the end of the show, we will announce the 2 winners. We will DM you on Twitter, find out which console you're using, and that day or the day after, we'll be shipping those games out to you guys. So hey, free shit. I know I spend $60 on fucking Madden every goddamn year, even though it's almost the same fucking game every year. So get yourself a fucking free copy of this shit. All right.
That's a great fucking giveaway, man.
Telling you. Again, thanks. Huge shout out to spicespros.com. Brand new, and they fucking hit us up immediately. Like, hey, you guys want to do a giveaway? That's literally what happened. Like, you want to give some shit away? I know you guys have to give away stuff. I'm like, yeah, what you got?
Fuck yeah. So how are we picking the winners? Who's picking the winners?
We're gonna have to talk about it. We're gonna talk about it after, but yeah, we're gonna go through comments. I'm gonna go through comments all over the place, and we're gonna do random. There's actually a way to do it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Keep my Twitter handle in mind. I just acquired some power. You understand me?
All right, fellas. Again, thanks a lot to spicespros.com. You can follow them at spicespros on Twitter. Shout out to Represent. Always have our back here. Always representing. Go to rep.crossmma.com. And you guys can get yourself some good shit and support the podcast. Appreciate you guys' support for sure. Shout out to Gundad, DQ, Uncle Hank's Pappy. I really been wondering if it's actually Uncle Hank's Pappy, because remember he's usually Uncle Hank, not Uncle Hank's Pappy. So I'm wondering if it's like legit or he's just fucking around. Again, and Liam, our boy Liam, always jumping on here. Shout out to our loyal friend Mike Jarves. Everyone that fucking is down with us from day one, and even if you're brand new, man, appreciate you. All right. So for myself, Fred Kirby, Jessica Wacaba, the whole team, thanks for watching, and good night, Wiltshire.